Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the IncubateIND Developers Tech Camp on Robotic Process Automation Day 2. So, yesterday was a really nice session, and I hope you all have completed the task. So, yesterday we had an overview of robotic process automation, what is RPA, how to get started with that. We made a few bots, we saw some bots, and we got to know more about the why we should start a career in RPA. Today we'll be diving a bit deep into RPA and working on some complex problem integration. And without delay, I would hand over the virtual mic to be exact, to Mr. Nisar to take on the session forward and continue to the independent developers tech camps day two. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Anush, for the wonderful introduction. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining yesterday's session. And it was great. I enjoyed it a lot personally. And so many people posted on LinkedIn completing the challenge of the day one. And that was really great to see how you all enjoyed it. And, it was really helpful for us also in terms of, mapping that all details. And thank you so much for joining again. So without wasting time, let me start sharing my screen. And today there's not much of a presentation. Today, as Anuj has mentioned, everything is going to be much more practical. And we are going to look at a lot of workflows and how, some complex problem statements with Uipath and how we achieve that. And also some of the wonderful use cases where it will interest you a lot in terms of learning RPA and why you should learn RPA. So while I talk, let me share my screen. So I'm sharing my screen. And let me know if you're able to see it. So, okay, so I'm sharing my screen. I hope you guys are able to see the screen. So this is the same page as yesterday's, and the code is really important. You will be paid in the future based on how well you work with the robots. That's what I say always, and that's really important. So today we are not going to waste a lot of time, and we are going to directly get started with the Uipath development. So today we are going to look at PDF automation, NASA's Open API, sentiment analysis with AI Center, and sentiment analysis with Python. And we are going to look at how can we integrate Python with Uipath. So this session is going to be very interesting, and I hope you all love this session a lot. So without wasting time, let's get started and let's create some course. Okay. So we have covered yesterday and we have completed yesterday. So let me turn off my video cam so you can see my full screen. Okay, so I hope you are able to see my full screen now. Okay, perfect. So as we have seen yesterday, we have seen how can we automate data scraping and how can we scrape data from meaningful data using Flipkart. So we yesterday saw a use case of a Flipkart for extracting the data. We also saw how can we extract data from financial websites such as Yahoo. So, and also we have seen email classification and sending an email, and then we have given a challenge. In today's automation and in today's session, we are going to look at much more complex processes, but we are going to get started with the most important topic, which is PDF automation. Okay. So as you can see on screen, what I have to do is, this is the same Uipath Studio. So I have introduced yesterday, this is the Uipath Studio where we developed the robot. And these are all the basic workflows which we have already completed. And today we are going to create PDF automation from scratch. So I have a couple of sample PDFs. Let me open them first. So I have few sample PDF files here. Okay. Now, as you can see on screen, there are a couple of PDFs such as copy of text and image PDF, perfect match PDF, sample invoices PDF, sample PDF, simple text PDF, and table information PDF. Okay. So the first PDF that we are going to look at is a simple text PDF. So what is this PDF? Let's open it. This PDF contains simple text where I am able to select the text from this PDF. As you can see, such PDFs are called as native PDF files. Okay, where you are able to select the data and where you can copy the data also. These PDFs are called as native PDF files. As you can see, there are two pages, page 1 and page 2. Correct? Now, what I'm going to do is, we want to read this PDF and we want to make sure that if we can read the data from the PDF and print it in Uipath output panel, how can we do that? So it's very simple. What we are going to do is, let's create one new sequence. We will drag a sequence here. Okay. The sequence we are going to rename it as simple PDF. I'm going to connect it with the starter. Okay. In the simple PDF, what you have to do first of all is you have to download a package. Okay. And that package, what you have to download is manage packages. Okay. And just download uipath.pdf.activities. If you don't have this package, click on official and type here PDF. And you will get to see this uipath.pdf.activities package. Click on this package and you can install this package. Okay. Now, once you install this, you will have activities related to PDF within your workflow. So what you have to do is simply type PDF in the activities and you will have so many activities right here. Out of this, in order to read a simple native PDF, now this PDF does not have any scanned documents, scanned data. It's a simple native PDF, right? Now, can you tell me quickly in chat which activity I will have to use in order to read the simple PDF? Do I have to read PDF with OCR or do I have to read PDF text? Anyone? Okay, so we have our answers. Read PDF text. So let's go ahead and let's drag this read PDF text. So I will drag this read PDF text and I will not use the read PDF with OCR. Okay, I will drag this read PDF text. It says it is asking for a file name. Okay, it is asking for a file name. So what I have to do is I have to simply click on this browse for file option here. I will click on this browse for file option, go to this PDF file folder, and I will select this simple text PDF and enter. Now, when you select the PDF from this browse options, you actually get a folder structure where you have seen, where you can indicate the file. But if you don't know selecting the file, then you can simply go ahead and you can simply go to the file folder and you can simply copy the path of the file from here. You can do that. It's as simple as that. So once you select or once you give the name, what you have to do here in the output panel. Now check this, in the output panel, you have to right click and say create a variable. Now when you create a variable, you have to type here any output variable. So it's a simple text. So I'm going to create a variable called a simple text, which is going to be a string variable, correct? You save this in the variables, I can check simple text is a string variable. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply drag a write line activity. This write line activity will help me to print whatever I capture from this PDF in this particular string variable, and write line helps me to print the string variable in the output panel. Okay, so I'm going to type here simple text, and that's it. And I'm just going to simply say run. Now let's see what happens. Okay, as you can see, it's already executed. It has already captured the data. And let's go to output. As you can see, it has already printed all the data from PDF right here. You can see a simple PDF file, which is the first page, and the second page starts with simple PDF file 2. So in the output panel, you can see here, simple PDF file 2 is also captured here, and this happened within 2 seconds. So you actually got entire data within 2 seconds extracted, right? Now this data is extracted in a string variable, remember. Now similarly, if I want to extract only page number 2, I want to capture data only from page number 2 and not from the page number 1. So what I have to do is I have to go to Uipath in the read PDF text activity. Okay, right here in the read PDF text activity. What I have to do is in the properties, as you can see, there is a property called as range. Okay, so in the range property, what you have to do is you have to, instead of all, you have to select 1. That's it. So instead of all, you have to select 1, and it has to be in double quotation. It is not a sorry, we need the second page, right? So you have to enter 2, okay? And it's in double quotation. Remember, it's a string. It's not an integer format. So mention 2. That's it, and just say run. Now this time, what will happen? Check. Bot will run within 1 second, and it will print only second page information. It won't go on the first page, but it will print only second page information. and it will be displayed right here on the screen. So this is how simple automating PDF is when PDF is native PDF. Now let's quickly talk about some tough PDFs to handle, which is, you can say, now this PDF. Now in this type of PDF, okay, what we have is, you can see there's a title. However, the data in this PDF is not linear. I mean, data is in paragraph. So this paragraph starts from here and ends here. This is a separate paragraph altogether. This is a separate paragraph, correct? So we have data in multiple paragraphs here. And at the end of the PDF, this is only one page PDF. Okay, at the end of the PDF, we have some data, which I'm not able to select. This data I'm not able to select at all. So what can I do in such case? When I'm not able to select the data, which activity should I use in Uipath to read such type of PDF files? Tell me the name of the activity which I can use. Quick, quick, quick. Okay, use OCR. Wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this read PDF with OCR, and here I'm going to select the PDF file, which is copy of text and images. I selected the PDF file, and then I'm going to drag a OCR. Now it says drop OCR engine here. So what you have to do is in the activities, you just have to simply type OCR. Once you type OCR, simply go here and just select the suitable OCR. Now I selected Microsoft OCR. So I selected the Microsoft OCR, and in the output, what I'm going to do is in the result, it says, okay, not the result. We have to go to text, and in the output, we have to create a variable called as, scan PDF, or just say image PDF. I created one variable called as image PDF. Oh, one second. I wrote this variable in Microsoft OCR. You have to write it in the read PDF to OCR as an output. So this is image PDF. I wrote it here. Now you can see the image DPI. You can set it from this particular property. It says 150. You can select it 300 if your image DPI is 300 of the PDF, and the range is all. Now once this data is extracted, it will be stored in image PDF. And then what we will do is we will try to print it in the right line. So I bring one right line here, and I will simply say image PDF. While doing that, what I will do is I will comment the activities of simple PDF because I don't want to print that again. I will comment it simply. What is the shortcut for comment? Can anyone paste it in the chat section? If you know what is the shortcut for commenting UiPath, commenting the activities. Now in the meantime, what we will do is we have used this read PDF with OCR, and we will simply go ahead and we will simply say run. Now as soon as I say run, let's look at it, what happens. It is taking such amount of time. It took almost, how much time? It took almost 6 seconds to capture the data. Okay. However, while it took 6 seconds to capture the data, it captured entire data very neatly. Let's look at this. So the data captured is sample text and image PDF. Go to UiPath and check the output line. Sample text and image PDF, correct? And also the part which was in image, okay? The part which was in image, which was, let me show you here. In the PDF, the part which was in image, which was lorem ipsum dolor sit amate, correct? Check this out. This part is also printed. Lorem ipsum dolor sit amate. So this is printed and this is captured as text just because of OCR. And that is why it took so much of time to capture the data. It took almost 6 seconds to capture the data from this particular PDF. So this is how we read data from PDF files using either read PDF text or read PDF with OCR. Now, remember, you have so many other operations. You have manage PDF password, you have join PDF files, where you can actually join multiple PDF files and combine them together to create one PDF file. You can get the PDF page count as well in an integer value. You can extract PDF page range. What is the page range of a particular PDF? You can extract image from PDF, and you can also export PDF as an image. So you can do a lot of stuff with all these activities available under the PDF branch. Now, why I'm telling you this specifically is because You have to stay tuned until the end of the session. End of the session, we are going to give you a challenge, which is going to be based on the PDF automation. So you have to stay tuned for that and remember all these activities which comes with the PDF package. Now that's all about the PDF automation. Let's jump on our second topic, which is NASA's Open API automation. Okay. Now, what is NASA's Open API first of all? So before I tell you how I automated it, let me show you what is NASA's Open API. So what you have to do is just type here NASA Open API. Click on this, which is api.nasa.gov. You have to come here, you have to say, you have to fill the details to generate the API key. You have to generate an API key, enter the details here, first name, last name, email. If you have any application URL then, or it's optional. So just first name, last name and email, and the API key will be sent to you over your email. Now on this API, they have open sourced couple of APIs out of which we are going to use Apod. Now Apod is the API which is called as astronomy picture of the day. Okay, now this astronomy picture of the day, if you expand it, this API actually works and it gives you, if you enter any date, it will give you the astronomy picture of the day of that specific date along with the explanation of that image. Isn't this wonderful? So I am also excited. And this API will bring you not only, now look at this, these are the query parameters of this API, and this is the link of the API. Okay, this is the link of the API. So in order to use this API, what you have to do is they have also given you example query. They have given you this is the API which is going to be like this, where it has API key, and then you put your API key right here. Now what we are going to do is we are going to leverage this API, and we are going to capture the astronomy picture of the day for any specific day. Okay, so this is the bot which we have already created. Okay, now let me explain you how this bot actually is built and designed to work with NASA's Open API. Now, once you generate the API from NASA's Open API website, what you have to do is you have to use get password activity. If you remember yesterday, I told you get password activity will store your password and will give you only one variable. So it will make sure that your password is secured. So you have to make sure that your API key is entered right here in the password. Now generate this API key. What I'm doing is I have dragged one activity which is called as input dialog. Okay, input dialog activity, and I have mentioned that this is the date of Apod, and I have asked for user that what you have to do is you have to enter. I have asked please enter date below to download Apod, and then I'm mentioning the format of the date is YYYY, MM, and DD. Okay. Now, once this is done, what I'm doing is I'm setting HD value as true, and then there is one package which you need to download. The name of the package is uipath.web.activities. Okay. Now, uipath.web.activities will allow you to work with APIs, will allow you to work with XML, JSON format data, and so many things. So, in order to work with such data, you have to download this API. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's look at how can we leverage this API. So once you download this package, you have to drag one activity called as HTTP request. So how this HTTP request looks like? Let me drag it. This is the HTTP request activity. You have to simply drag it here, and as soon as you drag it, it opens a wizard where you can enter the endpoint, which is nothing but the API. Enter the credentials if you have. What is the acceptance response? You want it in JSON format, you want the response in XML format, you can set that. You can set the authentication also. And then you can check the response in the response tab. And you can also pass the raw body in order to check the response. Now, how to use this API? Now look at this. This is just an example. Okay. Look at the properties of this API. Oh, sorry, HTTP request. What I have done is I have selected HTTP request. Timeout is 6000 milliseconds. I have set acceptance format as JSON. Endpoint. Now look at the endpoint. What I have done is in the endpoint, this is the same endpoint which is displayed on the NASA's Open API. This one. This is the endpoint which is displayed. Correct? I have copied the endpoint and I have used it in my code. I have used it in my code as in double quotation string. I have entered the date where I'm entering the date entry from user. You remember we are asking for user to enter the date, a specific date. Then I'm asking whether you want an HD or not, and then API key. So API key we have already stored in the password variable. HD we have already set as true, and date entry we are setting here. Now once that is done, what we are doing is we are using deserialized JSON activity. Whatever the output that we get from this request, the output will be set right here. As you can see here, this is the output variable, right? Var output. I am deserializing the JSON, and the deserialized object will be stored in JSON output. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sample build data table where I'm going to store type and value. It's a sample data table where I'm passing for each item in my JSON output, for each item in my JSON output, if it contains HT URL or it contains URL, okay, or it contains title, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it in this way. Look at this. Item.toString colon separated comma 2, and then I'm going to store it in values, and I'm going to pass those values in the data table which we just created right here. Now once all this is done, what we are going to do, we are going to write that data table where we got all the data in a specific output file, Excel file. You have seen yesterday, right range. We are going to store the data in astronomy picture of the day, and this date entry we are entering here to make sure that the file is stored with the date time stamp. We are storing the value in sheet 1, and the output will be stored in the validity. And once we have done that, then we are reading this particular entire Excel sheet, and from that we are reading only specific Excel column, you can say, or cell, which is B9, or if the image URL is blank, then we are reading B8. And then that image URL we are again passing to one of the HTTP request, which is here. The HTTP request is going to be get request, and in this get request we are going to store this HTTP request in a specific result. So you see here resource path. In the resource path, I have given the resource path as current directory /apport and the date entry and .jpg. Now once all this is done, what we are going to do is we are simply going to run this workflow, and we are going to see how we get our results and what are our outputs. So let's look at that. So what I'm going to do is, okay, one second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all this already created files. Okay. And let's create a new file. Now let's run the bot, say run, and look at it how it works. So it is asking me as an input data. Check this, I hope it's visible to you. So it is asking me for input data, which says please enter date below to download apport, which is astronomy picture of the day. And for example, YYMMDD. So I'm going to enter 2021. I want to check information of, let's say March, 22nd March, okay? And I'm just going to click on OK button. And that's it. As soon as I clicked on OK, let's see what happens. Bot run, and the workflow is completed. Refresh. The workflow completed its execution within only 32 seconds. And let's go to the project folder structure. In the project folder structure, you have astronomy picture of the day, 2021, 22nd of March. Open this image, and this is the image. Isn't it beautiful? Now, the image is downloaded for the specific day, but we don't know what this image is actually about, correct? So in order to know what this image is actually about, what we will do is we will open the Excel file which we have downloaded. And in this Excel file, as you can see, there is explanation where it says, so let's expand this and let's write the text. You have the explanation of this image also where it says what's up in the sky from Auriga to Orion, and then there's all the explanation of this image. So this is how wonderful this API works, and this is how you can also perform API automation using Uipath. So that's how simple it is. If you want to know this entire workflow execution, how I have done this, then all you have to do, if you want to create this workflow from scratch, all you have to do is navigate to my YouTube channel, which is Nisar Kadam. And on the YouTube channel, you can check the videos where you will get this video and you will get the bot built from scratch, how I built this bot. Okay. Now let's jump on our next bot of the day. So the next bot of the day is very interesting one. So let's look at it. Okay, let me open the project. Uipath. And let me open the project. Now, the next part of the day, we are going to look at how can we leverage Uipath AI Center and how can we integrate Uipath and AI together to work together, which is also an interesting use case. And it's going to be very amazing. I hope you're going to love it. So it's creating a workspace right now. Okay, and it's open. So this is the workflow which I have already created for our sentiment analysis. Now I am performing sentiment analysis on airline feedback review using two different ways. One way is I'm using UiPath AI Center, and another way is I'm using Python integration with UiPath. Okay. So how I'm doing it using UiPath AI Center. Now, how to use Uipath Ai Center first of all? So all you have to do is you have to simply navigate to the Uipath orchestrator. Okay, simply navigate to Uipath orchestrator. Click on admin, and here all you have to do is you have to enable the license. So once you come here in the licenses, you will see here option for enterprise trial license. Now, in order to use UiPath AI Center, you have to enable UiPath enterprise trial license. Okay. Now, how do you enable UiPath enterprise trial license? So you just click on that button, you just give some information and you say submit, and the license will be available for you for 2 months. Within this 2 months, you can also use Uipath AI Center, which is the feature where you have given AI robot, which works with artificial intelligence, and it helps you to integrate AI machine learning use cases with Uipath. Now, once that is enabled, you have to click on AI Center. And this is the page, how it looks. Okay. I have already created one project, which is sentiment analysis. How to create a project in AI Center? If you're looking to that, just click on this create project. Click on the name, let's say sentiment. Say create. Once you say create, you will see there are a couple of options right here: database, dataset, ML packages, pipeline, ML skill, and ML logs. You have to simply click on ML packages, then click on out of the box packages. In the out of the box packages, you have a couple of open source packages which are available, which are machine learning models, which you can directly use in your UiPath Studio. That's how awesome it is, and that's how easy it is, that you don't have to write UiPath, you don't have to write machine learning codes explicitly. Now, all you have to do is click on this language analysis, scroll, and select sentiment analysis. Now, once you select the sentiment analysis, scroll and see that there's a package version which is available 2.0. Just say submit, give it a package name called as sentiment, and say submit. And that's it. So you have created your ML package. Okay. Now, once you create a package, which is ML package, you have to go to ML skill. In the ML skill, create a ML skill and give it a name as sentiment or anything that you want here. And then choose the package which you have just created. We have created sentiment package, correct? Here. So just select sentiment package. Select package major version is 2, package minor version is 0, and then just say create. That's it. It gives some error, but that's fine. Just say refresh, and your package is created. Now the status is still deploying. Wait until the status is becoming active. Okay. Now this is how you create ML package. It's how simple it is. Once you create this, now let's go back to this already created package and check the ML skill. It says available, right? Right here in the status. And it also shows you how many predictions you have done. So this is how easy it is to deploy. And once you deploy this package will be available to your orchestrator. And how you check this? You have to click on admin, go to your orchestrator. In the orchestrator, you have to click on the tenant and then click on ML skill. And you can see that the package is currently available. And I'm using this package already where the predictions are 12. And this package is not available, yet it is still deployed. Okay. So Akshay is asking what is the difference between trainable and non-returnable model. So the package which we are currently using or the model which we are currently using is non-retrainable model, where we do not have to retrain this particular machine learning model. We do not have to give any data. As you have seen, I have just deployed the package and I have just used it simply and just created an ML skill and I'm directly using it. When you see there is a trainable package or trainable model, that trainable package, you have to enter the data in the data set and then you have to train that particular machine learning model with your own input data. And once you train it, you have to create a pipeline in order to make sure that the particular model is trained and then you use the trained model. That process is a little bit complex, but you can understand and you can learn all the machine learning packages or all the machine learning models that you want to learn on my YouTube channel. I have created so many AI Fabric sessions, and if you go to my YouTube channel, there is a complete playlist which says Uipath Ai Center. So let me just quickly go to that, and you can see here Uipath AI Fabric tutorials. In the tutorials, you will get 24 videos where I have used almost each and every package which is retrainable and non-retrainable. So you can check that and you can use that if you want. Thank you so much, Akshay, for asking this question. Now let's go back to our workflow. So once you have this package deployed, now what we are going to do is we are going to quickly look at the workflow which I have created. Let me connect the AI Fabric here. Okay. So what I've done is I'm opening TripAdvisor website. It's just like a browser automation. Okay. I'm opening the TripAdvisor website, then I'm selecting a couple of options such as I'm selecting the label as excellent, poor, feedback, terrible feedback, and then I'm selecting label as Asia, business class, and that's it. And then just like yesterday, how we have used data scraping, I'm going to simply use the same data scraping here. And I'm going to extract a couple of reviews from that particular TripAdvisor website. Now, once I extract those reviews, I'm going to save those reviews in airlinefeedback.xlsx. And then those feedback, what I'm going to do is one by one, I'm going to pass. So I'm going to read the feedbacks here, all the feedbacks from the Excel file. And I'm going to read those one by one each feedback, and I'm going to pass it to activity called as ML skill. Now this activity will connect your UiPath Studio with AI Center. In order to use this activity, you have to download a package which is called as uipath.mlservices.activities. Okay. So once you download this package, you will get this activity called as ML skill. You will download this particular ML skill and you will pass your review here in input and you will receive a JSON string as output. Now from this JSON string, you will deserialize the JSON string and you will only extract the sentiment and the confidence of this particular sentiment. And then I'm going to write it in the same Excel where the feedback is stored. And once that is written, I'm going to close the browser. So this is how simple this workflow is. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's look at how this actually works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this already existing Excel file. Let me simply delete this file. Done. And now we are going to quickly run the bot. So as soon as I say run, look at this, what happens. Okay. It will open a browser. In the browser, it will open airline review. Now look at this. It quickly selects a couple of options below. Here, excellent, poor, Asia, business class, and it selected English. Now look at the URL. It is going to the next page, page number 10, page number 15, not 15, but these are going to the next reviews. Now once it has extracted all the reviews, now our bot is trying to identify sentiment out of each and every particular user review. And the reviews which are going to be blank, if there is no review, it is going to throw an exception right here in the output panel saying that this particular person has no review or the review is blank. And wherever the review is available, what our bot is going to do is it's going to identify the sentiment of it what is the confidence of the sentiment, and it is going to print it in the Excel file. As you can see, for SciCap, it says doesn't have any review data, so it has thrown an exception. Okay, then it will run the next one, and also it will throw an exception. You see, Wanderlust at consultant doesn't have any review data. Now, still our bot is running, still executing. Okay. And that's finally done. So with for the three people, there is no data, and that's why it threw exception. So I'm going to refresh this very quickly. Let's go back, and there is this Excel generated. Now let's open the Excel and let's look at how it works. So look at this. So we have name of each and every person extracted using data scraping. We have reviews of each and every people, and using Uipath AI Center, we were able to identify sentiments of those reviews automatically and confidence how correct the sentiment is. Now you can see this sentiment says very negative, or look at this sentiment. This sentiment says very negative with confidence level of 1. Now let's read the sentiment. What the sentiment and why this is 1. So flight got cancelled due to overbooking. There was not even excuse, no compensation, no hotel, no food, no other flight. The airline is worst that I have ever saw in my industry. So look at this. So this complete statement is very negative, and our bot was able to identify it very easily that it is very negative with a confidence level of 1. Correct? So this is how easy it is to use Uipath AI Center and identify sentiments. And not only identify sentiments, but there are so many machine learning models which you can use. Now let's look at this one, which says very positive, or let's look at a couple of very positive statements. There are very less positive statements though. Okay, now look at this one. So this statement says positive with a 47% of accuracy. So let's say great service with care. I was very much angry with my last flight on the business class. It was really ridiculous, but I experienced a great service this time. Arrival service was with care, love, everything, honesty, and great as I have fly many airlines but Sri Lanka. Okay, so that means this person loved the flight, and that's why our machine learning model has captured it as very positive accurately. So this is how wonderful it is to use AI with UiPath or with automation, and that's how beautifully it works together with Uipath AI Center. So thankfully we have this model, and now without wasting time, let's go back and let's see. We have done it with Uipath AI Center. Now how it works with Python. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly correct the same workflow with the Python. Okay, so we did it earlier with the AI Center. This time we are going to do the same thing with Python. But before that, we'll quickly look at what is our Python code. Now you will be very shocked to see. Let me open it with the Sublime Text. So our Python code is only 4 lines of Python code. It's very small, right? So the Python code is, we are going to predict the sentiment. So just look at this. You can copy paste the same code if you want to use it. So def, this is the method, predict sentiment. I am taking input as feedback. I'm taking this input string variable. Now from text blob, I have installed text blob on the Python. From text blob, let me zoom it a little bit so that you can see it very clearly. Okay. So from text blob, I will say import text blob. Okay. And blob one, from text blob, I will just identify the feedback, and then return blob one dot sentiment. So what this particular code is doing, that this code is using text blob kind of feature, or this is one of the predefined method in Python, which identifies sentiment from any text, and also the positivity and negativity of the particular statement. Now this, it doesn't give you a reply as very positive, negative in those words, but it will give you from -1 to +1, and it will give you a number. From the number you will have to identify. Now what I have done is I have used this Python code, and let's see how we can integrate this Python code. So what I have done is, look at this one. I have used a simple activity called as Python scope. But in order to use this, you have to download a package called as uipath.python.activities. Okay. Now, once you download this package, in this package, you will define the scope of the Python. So what you have done is you have given the path of the Python where it is installed in the C drive. So it says C drive, app data, local programs, and Python 36. Okay. Then you give the machine configurations, Python 3.6. You have so many options, you can see. but we have given Python 3.6 because I have Python 3.6, so I will just type Python. And look at this, Python 3.6 is installed right now. Okay, so I will say Python 36. I will simply say load Python script. This load Python script, I will pass the script path of the Python, which is right here, and then I will store the output in this result. Now, while I'm passing this Python script, I will pass also the input data from the row. You can see row of review.toString. I'm passing as input here, which is the review given to the TripAdvisor website by the users. And then we will run the instance of Python with the predict sentiment method, and we will get our output in the Python method. Now, once we get our output, what we are going to do is we are going to store it in the Python object, and that Python object, then going further, we are going to check whether Python object .toString.substring 0,1. We are going to remove this hyphen, and I have used a small mechanism to define it to negative, very positive, and positive using the numerical methods. So small functions, if the particular Python object is greater than 0.5, it's positive. It's lower than 0.5, it's if greater than 0.5, it's very positive. If lower than 0.5, it's just positive. If less than 0.5, it's negative, and if it's lesser than that also, then it's very negative, right? So that way I have classified it, and then I'm storing each and every value in a cell, and then I'm storing it in the same way. So what we are going to do is we are simply going to rename this particular Excel file as AI Center, so that our bot will create a new similar kind of Excel file, but this time this output file will be of Python. I will simply go ahead and I will simply say run. Now let's go ahead and look at what happens exactly. So the same way, it will open the TripAdvisor website. Now look at this data selection. So it is selecting excellent or terrible. It selected Asia, business class, it selected English. And now on the URL, you check this. It's scraping the data. It reached till the page number 3. It has scraped almost 10 to 15 reviews. And now it is working on them with the Python code, and it is identifying sentiment from each and every review available right there. Now let's look at it, what happens. It's taking some time. It's taking its own sweet time. Okay. And it will take a couple of times because it's using Python, and that's why it will take some time. So it's working on it on the background. However, in AI Center, you might have seen it work really fast. The speed was great, and it's already done. So let's refresh and check the output panel. It took almost 1 minute. So the time duration is definitely more than what we saw in AI Fabric or AI Center. And this is the Excel file which we got as a response. Now let's expand this and let's look at what Python magic did. So these are the names of the people. Now here what happened is, whenever there is review blank, it actually gives sentiment as positive with 0 confidence. So that means it is saying that this is a positive statement while there is no statement. So this is a disadvantage, but that can be that loophole which we can incorporate in our code, no problem. However, let's look at a couple of data. So here it says very positive. So let's wrap the text and see. I was highly satisfied by the airlines. The crew was good, managed to deal with the passengers smoothly. The flight attendant was good, and seat was also comfortable. And this person has given very positive with a confidence level of 0.50. So that means Python's code is also working pretty fine. And let's look at what else is there. So we have, do we have very negative statement? We don't have, I think. Let's check this negative statement. So this person said, had very unpleasant experience when the flight attendant was focused only on single passenger and neglecting all the other business class passengers. Shame when flight attendants make your trip horrible one. So this person is honestly not happy, right? And that's why he or she has given negative feedback. And that's how our Python script has identified that. So that being said, we have seen on the go how can we extract data from the website using data scraping. And using AI Center and using the Python, we have identified sentiments from both of them and extracted the data, and we were able to identify the sentiments successfully. So this is how wonderful, this is how easy using Python integration with UiPath is, and this is how using Uipath AI Center with Uipath is. And if you want to check this bot build completely, then you should visit my YouTube channel where I have created this bot completely right from scratch. Okay, as you can see here, identify sentiments from airlines. I have created this video a long time back. I have given the entire bot build. You can check this bot. So that being said, I conclude my today's session. Thank you so much, Anuj, and you guys can connect me on this QR code as always. So Anuj, I would like to pitch you in here, and we will discuss about the second day challenge.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for the wonderful session. It has been a great one, hands-on session. So today's challenge will be different, a bit more complex, but the process will be same. I will be sharing a GitHub repo for today on mail and as well as on the communication channel. And you need to fork the repo, you need to upload your files, and then you need to generate a pull request. The task, the challenge will be shared by Nisar. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. So the challenge for the day two is a pretty tricky one. So what you have to do is you have to create a workflow. This is the input PDF file which I have given in the repository, Git repository, which you can download. Okay, this is a 20-page PDF file. So each page is named as page 1, page 2, page 3, and till page number 20. Check this. Okay, so you have all the pages. Now, what you have to do is you have to create a workflow which read this entire PDF file. Now, before reading the PDF file, you have to take input from user using input activity. From the input activity, when you ask user for a keyword, and in this case, the keyword is going to be UiPath. Okay, what you have to ask is you have to ask for input data from user, and the keyword will be UiPath. Now, wherever the keyword is present on the page number, for example, right now on the first page, UiPath is not there. If I say Control F on this particular PDF, okay, if I just type in search, okay, it's not responding right now. So there's something wrong. So when you search for keyword UiPath, okay, now let me search UiPath, enter. You can see this is on page number 4. The next keyword is on page number 8. The next keyword is on page number 13, and the next keyword is on page number 16. So what your workflow has to do is, your workflow has to separate the pages where the keyword is found and store that particular PDF file with the name as found.pdf in a folder called as found. And rest of the pages where the keyword is not found, you have to store all these pages, merge them together in one PDF file and store that PDF with the name of notfound.pdf in a not found folder. Then you have to zip the folder and email it to a specific email address. Okay, so that's simple use case, but it's a little bit tricky to perform. So here your logical analytics will be tested, and that's all about it. So this PDF will be available to you on the Git repository, which Anuj will share with all. Thank you so much, Anuj.
And I'll be sharing you the YouTube link as well on the communication channel and on mail, so you can have the access. And the whole process has been described in the README file on the GitHub repository by Nisar. So I guess it won't be an issue, but still, if you have any issue, you're facing any problem, you can always reach out to us. We have the mentors with us, Piyush and Parth. They have been guiding you guys since yesterday, so they'll be happy to help you guys. So if you have anything else, you can reach out to me and Nisar as well. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming. It was a wonderful session. Thanks, Nisar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anuj, for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.